Hey, welcome back to the channel. I'm really glad that you guys are back. I'm glad that we're all here today. Today is a nice warm summer day. We've been having those fall days that come creeping in just once in a while. It's like a prelude type of thing. They come for just a little bit and then they go away and it's back to summer again before the actual fall hits for good. So it's a good day today. What I wanted to talk about today was is more geared towards children and the schooling system. And we all know this is a kind of controversial topic, so I'll try to talk in neutrality because I think it's best to talk in neutrality. I think it's in the best interest of society, obviously, to be neutral, but also in the best interest of yourself. You know, there's a saying that goes, "He who stands for nothing stands for everything, or falls for everything," and I don't completely agree with that. It's like there has to be context behind it, because it's not just a one phrase fits all kind of thing. So when you don't stand for something, it means that you choose peace over having to choose a side of the conflict. And people ask me, especially when I was in real estate, they used to ask me this all the time. So what political party do you support? Are you left? Are you right? Like, what are you? And it was almost like, like, what's the point of asking somebody that question, right? Well, there's like, there maybe are two reasons that I can think of off the top of my head. One would be I would want to know more. I would want to know more about it so that I could judge that person. And two would be I just want a good debate because I think that my stance on it is the right stance. So I would ask someone else that question so that we could get into a good debate so that I could prove to them why my stance would be right. And neither of those approaches really resonates with anything within me, nothing. And so whenever somebody brings up politics, whenever someone wants to discuss politics, forget it. Like I won't even talk about it. I'll just say I'm neutral. I don't talk politics. And those who really want to push and pry, they'll be like, "Oh, you're a Republican, aren't you?" or whatever. And I'll be like, "Yeah, no, like I really don't talk politics. Like I really and if they pry too much, I'll just tell them that I don't care. I don't care. Like whatever is going on out there is going to directly affect the economy that I am living within, but it's not enough. Like I can't make all of the changes to all of the governmental areas that I would prefer. So I have ideas of things, but there's no way that I would ever take the stance to try to have a good debate and lose a relationship over it, or have a good debate just to lose an acquaintanceship, or to lose like any kind of relationship, really. It's not, even with myself especially, it's not worth it. Like, so I don't talk politics because of that, because I don't like those two reasonings. First, you should never judge someone based off of whatever their political stance is. And two, it's not worth having a debate over just so that you can prove that you've done your research and you're right. You know. And so I don't do that kind of thing. But and schooling system is kind of in those lines, right? Because it's like you have to take a political approach when you're discussing any type of academic area, because they are greatly correlated. It's one system within another system. And so whenever we discuss any type of systematic processes, it's really important to take a neutral stance. Like, I can understand where they're coming from with why they do the things they do, and I can understand why people do not agree with it. And so being able to take that understanding approach leads you to a neutral stance. And so today I want to talk about school systems and the academic realm. And this is because there's a lot of noise out there on the internet, especially on all sorts of advertisements. Listen, when people want you to buy their course, they will bash the school system because maybe like 80% of people don't like school, didn't do well in school, have some sort of bad memory correlated with school, had been bullied in school, something that is negative has come out of school. And 80%, I would say, I'm just making that up, but 80% probably would come out of the academic system and say, wow, there were experiences in there that I never want to go back to. And those are the ones that they will dwell on those specifically. Maybe the other 20% will come out of it and have these positive things to say about it. It wasn't like the best time of my life, but I did learn and I did grow and I did make memories and I made friendships and I did really well in sports or whatever. And they'll have some type of positive thing to say about it. So it's a really easy way to market people into courses is, hey, do you remember when you were in school, or remember how useless it was, or remember whatever. And then you can be like, oh yeah, I do. Oh my God, it was a system. Wow, it really was like a brainwashing tool. Yeah, you're right. And then they'll lure you in like, so, this is like a practical course. You should take my course. It's got more practicality in it. That's true to like an extent, but I think what people don't understand is the development of human behavior. Like when you send a young child into a school system, they are not just learning. They're learning kind of at a slower pace, right? But they're not just learning their ABCs and their 1, 2, 3s. They are learning an array of habitual patterns to be in existence with, to start resonating with. And what people are forgetting is that the home environment is going to make up like 80% of that person's success rate. So send them into the school system, but man, if they can't handle it, if they've got no emotional support at home, if they don't have that kind of structured support at home that really encourages the way that they learn and grow and overcome challenges and deal with the bullying that will occur, then forget it. Like they'll be in the 20% they'll be in the percent of people who can't handle it and will come out of school with a negative worldview of it, a negative paradigm of it. And so that's where people try to push off this responsibility. Like, well, I'm going to send my son into the school system, and when he comes out damaged, it's their fault. Like, what? How does that make sense? Like, do you know where he's living? He's living with you. He's coming home at the end of the day to you. And so there has to be some type of responsibility. Like the school can take some of the responsibility. Is it set up perfectly? No. Is it set up for like 100% success rate with no child left behind? No. And so it's not. It's really not. But the responsibility can't fall solely on the academic system. It has to fall also on the familial system and the family at home and the way that you structured your own habits and your own human behavioral patterns that you have at home. Are you setting your son up for success? Like, are you the one who's instilling values into him or her so that when they go into the school system, they have some type of strong, firm foundation of values that they will always be able to rely on, even on the days that they get beat up. They can come home, they have a strong support system. It's a full circle. Like, we can't just blame one side or the other. So that's where these courses and these marketers online will really get you into this mess of, wow, I can't believe I wasted so much time in the academic system and look, it didn't get me anywhere. What are you talking about? Then there's other areas of your life that you should probably be working on. And like anytime that you make some kind of achievement, don't ever let somebody else tell you that that's not a real achievement. Some of those marketers, they graduated high school or barely graduated high school, and then they were the one making the courses. Some of them are very successful. Some of those courses are absolutely practical, and they are helpful, and they give you real life training, and that is the difference. But it's not like, who are they to rag on you for your accomplishments? Did you graduate high school? Did you get a GED? Did you get a associate's degree, bachelor's, master's, PhD? Like, those are things that you should be proud of. You worked hard for that. And whether you have monetary resources to show for it, or just that piece of paper saying that you had completed it, that's still an accomplishment. And the fact that there are so many marketers out there who are downplaying people who have worked so hard to earn these degrees, even if it was just because they were pressured into it because of their family, or because all their friends were doing it, or whatever, it's still an accomplishment that they can now carry forward with them. Was it the most effective accomplishment? I don't know, maybe not, depending on the field that you chose. But it doesn't matter, because you still have that, and you still did that, and you should be proud of yourself. And you should never let somebody else try to tell you that any kind of accomplishment, whether it's from playing the piano or learning the simplest piano song, to having the highest academic achievement, to being able to play in a professional sports or play in a bar volleyball league, it doesn't matter. Those accomplishments are specific to you, and you should be proud of those. And so the point of this is because the value system and the structure and the foundation at your home life has to be firm in order for you to confidently and courageously send your kids out into a system that will attempt to brainwash them in ways that you can't imagine. And it's not like they're doing it intentionally. So that's what I really want to stress, is that these systems were set up so that they can make our society stronger, right? Because if you look back in human history, the dumber we were, the more likely, or I don't want to say dumber, but the more academically dumber we were, then the more likely that our economies would fail. And we haven't had failing economies to the point of a complete crash in so long. Like, if you look back to Alexandria, which is it's in northern Egypt, right? And if it was like the port of all exports and imports. It was like the main port, and it crashed at one point. And it was devastating to that economy completely. They had to rebuild it completely. We haven't had one like that in so long, because we've been supporting and encouraging our human beings and our economies to go to school, to get educated, to do whatever it takes to learn more. Like, books are incredibly life-changing. Just think of just a book is life-changing. And if people try to dumb that down and make it seem like the academic system is such a terrible thing, they should really take the neutral stance. Look at what great things have also come from it. So there have been a lot of negative impacts that it's had, yeah, but it's also had a lot of positive impacts. And we're all doing the best that we can to restructure an entire academic system. You have no idea how much would have to go into that, just from a research standpoint. Wow. And that is what we are all working towards. Like, people want to go get their PhDs so that they can conduct these researches that can better our economies, so that we can be a stronger human race all over the world. Because if an economy over on the other side of the world is strong, then we are strong over here too. And we are just building on each other like that. And so it's important that we continue to learn and we continue to grow. And those families who are not encouraging learning with their children is kind of then they've kind of been brainwashed by those who believe the negative side effects so much that they're unbalanced, that they took that stance on it, that they decided to like brainwash the other people by saying academics are so bad. Do you remember when you were in school how awful it was? And those people, unfortunately, that's a brainwashing technique too. Like they're just feeding on your negative on the negative memories that you have. And those are impressions that really hit you hard, right? Because you're growing up in those vulnerable times in a place where you have no choice but to succumb to authority figures. And so you lose a lot of personal power if you don't have that kind of structure at home that reinforces your idea of personal power, that reinforces your idea of courage and bravery and being your own authentic self. Then you're going into a school system where people will constantly have so much information and you have to decipher through it at a very young age. No, it's not going to go well. You need that home life to be so incredibly solid. And so I think that the point of this then would be that things need to be evaluated from a neutral standpoint. Honestly, they do. And so you can't just take one side because somebody said so. You really genuinely have to do your own research. And that is what will make our economy stronger, is when people are able to conduct their own research and are able to take the neutral stance. Conduct their own research, take a neutral stance. That means you have to understand both sides, like genuinely understand, not judging, oh, that was wrong of them, oh, that was wrong of them. No, understanding each side to take a neutral ground and then make the decision for yourself. But the decision that you make shouldn't be so incredibly lopsided that it's going to push people who are not as evolved or not as conscious or not as aware and educated maybe as yourself. Then it's your responsibility to not try to push them into a position where they have to agree with you, but instead hand them the information. And you can do that from the neutral standpoint. Well, here's the good, here's the bad. Make your decision. And that's really all that it is. And I think that the more that the people in our societies are able to do that, take the neutral stance and then make those decisions for themselves, not feeling the need to pressure somebody else into it, right? Because that's not a neutral stance. If you feel you have to pressure other people, manipulate in order to control, if you feel you have to back them into a corner, gaslight them, anything like that, that is a form of controlling their behavior, well, then that's probably not going to be a very good stance. But again, the academic realm is really there. It like reinforces those values of discipline, not in like a punishment kind of way, but more in like a focused kind of way. Because if they can develop things like that at such a young age, they have more of a probability of succeeding in many different endeavors. I don't care if it comes from just sports, just playing around, or from art. Like these are things that are important because they're really instilling in the child that they have these values within them and that no one could shake off of them, that they will be able to overcome any kind of challenges. They will be able to follow their own path. They will be able to choose a career path, or if you don't want it in the traditional form, any kind of monetary, they will be able to take care of themselves when they're older, and they will be able to do it like shame and guilt free. And that would be like the ideal situation. Whether they got straight A's, who cares? Whether they got straight F's, well, okay, that matters a little bit. But still, what I'm trying to say is if their grades are a little bit all over the place, it's like the grading system isn't all that effective, and that like the grades shouldn't be focused on. But is the child doing repetitively going to school? Is he consistently showing up? Are they consistently doing their homework to the best of their ability? Are they consistently putting in the effort, and are they getting the support at home? I can't stress that enough. Like that's the most important thing, is the support at home. And so maybe that's where our focus ahead really needs to be on. Instead of blaming the academic system, we really need to strengthen our own familial systems, and not just on Sunday mornings. If you're a churchgoer or something, if you're religious, it honestly, it doesn't have to come from like a religion. I'm not religious, and so I just think that the more books you read, the more information you can take in, the more coaching that is available to you, just the more that you see these things as opportunities and take advantage of them, the more that you can excel yourself and your family in the right direction, to give them the kind of support that they're going to need during those vulnerable times, and during the times of uncertainty, when they finally get out into the real world, and like they have no idea how to overcome challenges that they did not have when they were home, that they did, or that they did not even know were challenges to begin with, and that's really where you have to instill personal power. So instilling personal power, being courageous, having that structure at home, instilling values, firm foundations. Those are all part of the firm foundations. Once a child has that and consistently has that the rest of his life, what else is there? It doesn't matter what path he goes down from there. Like, he's going to be stronger than ever to be able to take on and look for the challenges so that he can become even more stronger. And that's really the ideal situation. So I'd love to hear what you have to say. I know that this was a very controversial topic, so if you have some very harsh feelings towards the academic system, I really ask that the comments that you make are neutral. So let's focus on, I don't want to focus on the positivity, no, but I do want to be neutral and be mindful of the words that we're using and in the way that we're using them. But if you could leave a comment below, I definitely want to hear what everyone has to say and have a great discussion out of it in a non-hostile way. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.